Hey, I'm Yoad. Welcome to my studio. I was commissioned by Cable Guys to create some factory presets for PitchShaper. And this is what we're going to do today. In this video, I'm not going to focus on all the amazing shaper capabilities that ShaperBox offers, but rather on the sonic qualities of PitchShaper and how we can use it during production and mixing. The first thing I want to emphasize is the lack of latency. So I can actually play while changing the pitch. So I can play 2 octaves below with no noticeable latency, which is unbelievable. Now let's create some presets. Let's look at this acoustic guitar. Now, when I'm not changing the pitch, I'm basically in true bypass. What I want to do here is to create some chorus harmonizer type effect. So I'm going to pitch it up by a few cents and mix it with the source. Something like that. And then let's give it some movement. And that brings us to flanger territories. That is really nice already. And now I'm going to add a panner which will make it stereo. So let's just find a sine wave. And I want it quite fast because I want it to sound like a chorus. And that for me already is a preset. And I'm going to save it. And let's start from scratch. Let's look at the different instrument. Let's see what else we have here. We have some bass. So here we can use this as an octave. And I want to make it a bit stereo, so I'm going to use liquid, but only on the high frequencies. I don't need feedback here, and I want the offset. And just a bit of that. And I think we need a bit of filtering for the whole thing to make it smooth. Compression never hurts, and I want it before everything else. Okay, let's get a drum loop. And here I want to play with the rhythm a little bit. So I'm going to select the mid-range. Something like that, because I want to treat the kick portion of the frequency range separately. And let's start building a rhythm part. I want to try and pitch the snare down to make it a bit more heavy. And here I'm going to select 16 nodes. Now, if I increase the range, it's starting to become more noticeable. Let's try the drums algorithm. And now I'm going to move to the lows and see if we can make something interesting out of the bass drum part. Just by creating kind of a delay. And let's go to the highs, and here I can literally do something like that. Let's hear it bypassed. So quite straight. Much more rhythmic, and a bit of panning can't hurt. Again, I'm going to just use it on the mid-range, just to open it up a little bit. I like that. Let's select another instrument. What do we have here? We can start from that setup, which is going to be very weird, but we can decrease the range and use octaves. Let's lose the lows and the mids for now. So from this to that, a bit of movement, and let's get I just need a tiny amount of that. And let's see what we can do with the lows. Let's see if we can draw something interesting. Sounds really nice with octaves. That's nice, a bit of reverb. Let's try to find something quite odd. We need a bit of free delay. Okay, let's move to something else. This should be fun because it's quite static. So again, I'm going to go for the mid. And here I can easily add some stuff, an octave above. Kind of a dotted part. And with the lows, we can shift it up the octave at a different range. Let's try a different grain size. The bass sounds more clear like that. So, quite static. Now in the highs, I can actually stretch it as it goes. Now I want to create some movement as it goes up. So I'm just gonna select the high frequencies and do the same. Okay. And here we have a synth part, which is quite animated already. But here I want to shift it down an octave, but only on the lows. So it makes it kind of thick. We don't need to be all wet. Something like that. And at the same time, I'm going to do the opposite for the highs. So that kind of opens up a sound which is somewhat dull. Now, if I use a reverb before, you will catch the tail. I need something quite bright. So like that. But I'm just gonna apply to the eyes, and we can make it a bit shorter. Bit of pre-delay. Less width so it doesn't follow the panning of this synth hard. And I'm going to compress everything, reverb included, to kind of pack it. I like adding some peaks so we can lose the distortion, exclude the low frequencies. And find a mid point. Nice. Let's see what we can do with this hi-hat. Again, I want to create a pattern. Now, if I make it smooth, I get a sweeping kind of effect. And then I want to allow the source to come through. And I want to do something else for the highs. In fact, I want to lower them to make it a bit lo-fi. But I can have a little bit of movement here. So something like that. Now let's find another drum loop. So that's the same setup. Let's create a sort of sweeping motion on the mids, and we can open it up to the highs, and here we can increase the movement on the highs, and here we have a lot of content in the low range. So let's do the opposite kind of trend. Make it that much. Something like that. So the kick is starting to sound like a tom, and we don't want to lose the lows, so just a bit of that. Bit of compression only on the lows. Nice. Let's grab another drum loop where the kick is not very punchy, and I want to try to make it punchy. I'm going to do that by pitching up the transients. So that's a bit much, and I want it to be on the kick. That's cool. Let's get a drum algorithm. And now we want the release quite short so it follows the transient. now with the release, we can smoothen this motion. So effectively, this is only changing the kick. The hi-hat and the snare are not affected by that. And that means that we can shift this to the lower portion of the frequency range, and here we can do something else. Okay, let's try some vocals.
It isn't over yet.
Now here, I want to take
It isn't over yet.
just that, and I'm going to shift it by a few cents. I'm trying to create an AMS harmonizer type processing. Let's move it to vocals. And here we can separate the formant and shift it up.
It isn't over. It isn't over yet. It isn't over. It isn't over.
Just a bit to brighten it up a bit.
It isn't over.
We just need a tiny bit of that. And then we need something to open the stereo image again, just on the highs. No feedback. Bit of offset.
It isn't over yet. It isn't over. It isn't over yet.
Let's work on this guitar track. I want some flanging in the mid. So again, I want to create a few pitch shift points and gently modify the pitch around the center point. It sounds like takeover, but when I introduce the source, I get really nice flanging. And then let's use phaser. And we want to quite wobbly. Little less modulation. That's quite nice. Now let's get the reverb. Quite resonant. I just want it on the high frequencies. And maybe this whole thing can be faster. Nice. Well, these are only some of the things you can do with this. I can go on for hours, but we have to stop at some point. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do, and I will see you on the next one.